Kartik was getting ready for wedding of his friend's brother. Valley, who lived in Telangana, she was also invited to same wedding since her close friend's sister was the bride. Kartik saw Valley first at wedding. She was laughing with her friends, her eyes full of mischief and light. For a moment, his heart paused. As, she's from Telangana, he thought. Modern, beautiful, confident, she must have someone in her life already. He forced himself to look away, to play it cool. No expectations, no hopes. But fate, once in motion, rarely slows down. In one of the evening group chats, someone casually asked Valley, "You must be getting calls from your boyfriend every hour, no?" Valley chuckled, her answer simple but shocking. "I don't have one. Never have." Kartik's heart jumped. The wall he had built around his emotions cracked instantly. That single sentence changed everything. From that moment on, he began to see her differently, not as someone unreachable, but as someone beautifully human, maybe even meant for him. He started making little efforts, offering to help during the functions, making her laugh during dull rituals, noticing the way her eyes lit up when she talked about things she loved. Valley, too, noticed. She saw the way Kartik looked at her with something softer, deeper. Something real. Kartik and Valley became inseparable during those wedding days. They weren't lovers, not yet, but something bloomed deeper than a crush, quieter than love, stronger than friendship. They laughed, shared stories under fairy-lit canopies, teased each other during Sangeet rehearsals, and walked side by side like they had known each other for years. Kartik was careful. He never crossed the line. He wanted to earn her trust first, and somewhere deep down, he feared losing whatever little they had. He didn't even ask for her number or Instagram handle. He thought there would be time, one more conversation, one more moment, one more chance. But fate has its own plans. The wedding ended, the laughter faded, and Valley left to her home. No goodbye, no message, not even a whisper of departure. Kartik searched for her in the crowd the next morning, but she was gone like a dream you wake up from too soon. He was silent on the journey back home. His friends joked and shared memories of the wedding, but he never told them about Valley, that he liked her. It was his own quiet ache, a beautiful chapter he didn't know how to explain. Days turned into months. He tried to move on. Work, life, responsibilities, they all came in, layer by layer, covering that short-lived chapter of his life. 3 years later, Madhapur, Hyderabad, a bustling city filled with software parks, endless traffic, and people chasing deadlines. Kartik, now 25, was a software engineer at High-Tech Software Solutions. Life had stabilized, good job, decent salary, and a mind too occupied to wander back into the past. One Sunday evening, he went to a nearby park, looking for peace away from glowing screens and endless code. And there he saw Valley, sitting on a bench, her hand gently resting on her belly. She was glowing not just with joy, but with life. A soft smile played on her lips as she listened to music on her phone, the same way she used to back then. For a second, Kartik forgot to breathe. The world stood still. All the forgotten feelings rushed back, uninvited, unfiltered. He didn't move. He just stood there, heart racing, trying to process the moment. She looked up and their eyes met. The same eyes, the same smile, but now, a different story. Valley was married, and she was about to become a mother. After 3 long years, time seemed to fold itself neatly into that moment, like nothing had ever changed between them. They laughed quietly, shared small memories from the past. Valley spoke about her married life and the way her husband always reminded her to take her vitamins on time. Then, Valley's phone rang. She answered casually, expecting a regular checkup call. But the smile on her face vanished instantly. "Hello," she said, voice soft. Kartik watched her closely. She stood up suddenly, staggered, and collapsed into his arms. Panic surged through him. He grabbed the phone from her hand. "This is Kartik," he said quickly, trying to keep his voice steady. The nurse on the other end spoke calmly, professionally, but the words were like knives. "Her husband met with an accident. He's in critical condition. Please come to City Care Hospital immediately." Kartik didn't waste a second. He called for a cab, helped Valley sit up, and held her close as they rushed to the hospital. She was silent, her hand pressed tightly to her stomach, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. At the hospital, the waiting area was filled with grief. Valley's in-laws were already there, her mother-in-law sitting motionless, eyes swollen from tears, while her father-in-law stood near the emergency room door, trying to hold it together. The doctor came out. He didn't need to speak. His expression said it all. Valley looked at her in-laws, searching for hope. Her father-in-law stepped forward and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "He's gone. Our son is gone." The words hit her like a storm. She stumbled back, tears flooding her eyes. A scream rose in her throat but never escaped. She broke down in Kardic's arms, crying not just for the man she lost but for the life that would now never be the same. Kardik held her tightly, not as a friend, not as a past lover, but as someone who knew her pain without needing words. He didn't say a thing. He just stayed. Months passed like slow-moving clouds after a storm. In the silence that followed her husband's death, Valley found herself in a world she didn't recognize, lonely, uncertain, and fragile. But in the midst of that darkness, one presence remained steady, unwavering. Kardik. He was there through every breakdown, every doctor visit, every moment of fear. He never tried to take anyone's place. He didn't force a smile on her or rush her pain. He simply stayed as a friend, a pillar, a quiet strength when she had none. He brought warmth to her in-laws' house with his small gestures, kind words, and genuine care. Kardik, for the first time, opened up to his parents. He told them everything from the first moment he saw Valley to how fate brought them together again, and what she meant to him now. His parents listened, and their eyes welled up with pride. "You stood by her when she had no one. That's the kind of son we raised," his father said with a gentle pat on his shoulder. A new life. The day Valley gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, the hospital room lit up with joy, a child born not just into the world, but into a home filled with people who already loved him deeply. Kardik stood outside the room, looking through the glass at the tiny new life, his heart swelling with emotions he couldn't name. After few days, Valley's in-laws approached him. Their voices were soft, but filled with sincerity. "You've been more than a friend to her," said her father-in-law. "You became our son when we needed one," her mother-in-law added. "If you are willing, would you marry her?" Kardik looked at them, speechless. Not out of shock, but out of the weight of the moment. He turned slowly toward Valley, who was standing quietly at the doorway, holding her baby. She looked into his eyes, no longer unsure, no longer broken, just whole. "I'm okay with it," she said, her voice steady. "If you are." Kardik smiled, not the nervous smile of a young boy in love, but the calm smile of a man who had waited, endured, and earned something real. "I am," he replied. "I always was." 1 month later, in a ceremony that was simple, elegant, and filled with tears of joy, Valley and Kardik were married. Their hands met not as strangers, not as friends, but as two souls who had lived through sorrow and chosen love anyway. And as Valley held Kardik's hand, their baby boy in her arms, the wind whispered softly through the mandap. It wasn't just a happy ending. It was a new beginning. Summary. A boy who loved a girl from afar finally finds his way back into her life through fate and compassion. Through love, loss, and healing, their journey ends not in heartbreak but in a beautiful new beginning.